All right, I'm going to call the public power hour to order. And as always, this is a listening opportunity for us, and I'm excited because this young lady spoke to us about a year ago and is doing a fantastic job, and there's a lot of things happening that we need to be aware of. So, Margaret, if you would come and just state your name and address for the record, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
You know, you've made my day, Mr. Mayor, by calling me young. That was pretty fun, so thank you.
Pretty fun.
So, my name is Margaret Key, and I live at 1002 Ponderosa Drive in North Augusta. And I'm here wearing the hat of the executive director of the Aiken Center, which is our county's substance use center. And I wanted to give a nod quickly to our board chairman, who's Steve McElmurray. I believe you all know him
Welcome,
quite
Steve.
well.
You're looking dapper tonight.
As usual, yes. Another board member who is on Aiken Center's board, who's not a native, but a resident of North Augusta, is Dr. Charlie Dees. Dr. Dees wanted to be here and be able to answer any questions that you had. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna actually hit start on this timer. So it's 5 minutes.
We have our own.
Oh, you have your own?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll
all right.
let you know.
So I don't need to.
We'll probably give you some flexibility.
Oh, okay. I'm going to hit pause then, and you can tell me. So Dr. Dees is, he's one of our heroes, isn't he, Steve? He was with an Army emergency medical doctor, and he's now really lead physician at this new emergency room in Sweetwater, the Exit 5 ER. And so he really has been such a valuable person to give us insight and to see what's really happening where the rubber meets the road in terms of substance use. Now, everyone should have this. It's a front and back handout, yep. And I was sitting here looking at it, and I realized it's not as clear as it could be. So I'm gonna tell you a couple of things. I should have marked this table accidental overdose deaths. So this came from the coroner, and I was on the phone with Daryl Abels this morning. He's another one that said he sent his regards. So this is accidental overdose deaths in Aiken County. And you can see when I started this job about 4 years ago with about 30 annual accidental overdose deaths in Aiken County, the coroner and I were commiserating. We never imagined it could be, almost 100 or potentially 100 this by now annually. There is a program called OD MAP, and so we actually, in its first responders, EMTs that put in real-time information, both fatal and non-fatal overdoses. So you'll see this first bullet. So in Aiken County in 2022, we had 624 suspected overdoses this past calendar year. And 195 of those 624, according to the data that I was looking at this morning for 2022, happened in those two zip codes, 29841 and 29860. I tried to look at this heat map, this overdose mapping program, which isn't 100% capture, but it's the best we have right now. And it looks like we've had in North Augusta City about 13 overdoses so far this calendar year. I'm trying to do an overlay of the heat map of the incidents together with the city lines. So I guess the good news, there's a lot to say about the problem with fentanyl and so forth, but the good news is includes this new program that I referenced last time I was with you. So the National Pharmaceutical Settlement money, all the pharmaceutical companies, that money is like literally sitting with the Attorney General's office now in Columbia, and we can begin to roll that money out to communities. Of course, in Aiken County, we have the City of Aiken, the City of North Augusta, and the county government, all three getting a designated amount. I think I put those amounts in here. So North Augusta City right now has, sort of in your bank account, $268,000 that's ready to be pushed out to you and to us, together with, of course, the amounts from the other two entities that are getting the designated amount. There is a discretionary fund, and my understanding about this program is that if and when municipalities or counties don't spend their money, I think there's a 3-year clock that money gets redistributed out. maybe to the discretionary competitive fund, I'm not quite sure, but we lose it, basically. So the next deadline for submitting the proposal, it's online, it's on this scorf.sc.gov website, is 2/28, and I was talking to Jim Clifford this morning. I think, that's a tough one to try to meet at this point. The plan with this scoreboard is every calendar quarter they open up another window of opportunity to apply. So there have been applications from counties and cities that have already gone through, this will keep rolling. It'll be a rolling application process, but again, that clock is ticking. And the state does expect there are going to be more settlements coming in, so that overall program is going to grow maybe by $100 million or more for the state of South Carolina and be, a long-term project. Evidence-based programming, there's a 40-page document. I don't think you necessarily want to go read that whole thing, but it's on this website. And let's see, a number, just so you know your options, a number of county governments and municipalities are doing a cover letter, basically, and designating the local county alcohol and other drug authority to be the representative and the designee to actually apply for the monies, bring it down, report to the city or report to the county, do reporting to, but become an arm of the government. That's an option, or if you wanted to go on and submit your own application and subcontract with us for certain things or all of it, that's an option too. But apparently a number of them just went ahead and designated the local alcohol and other drug commission to be your representative to pull this money down and to manage it for you. So Aiken Center, and of course Steve's here in the board, we're willing to do that if that's what you would like. I'll be meeting with the city of Aiken later this week, and Clay Killian with the county. And I think that, that whatever we end up doing as a county, as a collaborative here, it needs to be done together, and to have these monies coming in a way to the two municipalities and the county that knit together in a way that's truly a strategic plan across these approved abatement strategies. These are evidence-based. They know that there's solid reason to believe it's a good investment, and that we'll be able to drive these numbers down with these kinds of interventions. So things like these warm handoff programs and recovery service expansions there, Narcan in our mind, I think I mentioned to you before, getting it into the backpacks and the medicine cabinets and the homes is excellent practice. And from our perspective, when we're a community distributor, which we are as an agency, we build a relationship, right? We begin to get to know these folks, they begin to trust us, and we hopefully get them into treatment and recovery services. Prevention, I think some of you had said to Jim, I think you're an interest potentially in really working with the school district and the prevention, like drug education in the schools. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. Superintendent King Lawrence is going to be coming to a meeting with our board March 17th. We've got to work upstream and not just on the crisis end, although there's low-hanging fruit on the crisis end too for this overdose response, and that's the city of Aiken will be looking at that. So, and I just wanted to, a couple of asks there. Let's work collaboratively. Let's really put a lot of good thought in this strategically, and let's get North Augusta's money coming here as soon as it can, so we can begin to impact this tragedy. Well,
let me just say, Margaret, thank you for what you do. You've really done an incredible job since you've been over the Aiken Center, and you've gotten the word out. I think I'm sure Jim might have talked with Jim, and we haven't had any kind of study session or not, but I do know in general, as far as our take when it has come to any disbursement from whether it's ARPA or whatever, we are definitely more open to a situation where we are purchasing things versus some communities that we think have made mistakes where they have hired employees or have done positions that are not ongoing that you can fund. So I definitely think the Narcan and these other options, that you listed here, several of those, would make a lot of sense. Tell me in your mind what improved accessibility to counselors in Greater North Augusta? Are you talking about more facility-wise? Having a facility is what you're getting from there?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Yes,
Okay, I just wasn't sure what that meant.
No, you're right. Aiken County is so huge, and right now, the health department and Aiken Center, we're two organizations that don't have any presence physically on this side of the county. So when Steve and the board hired me 4 years ago, they said, look at how do we get a presence in North Augusta, because the numbers are so high here, and the population growth here. So yes, I think our long-term vision is definitely still to have a satellite office in North Augusta that co-locates mental health, the health department, and alcohol and drug. And that is definitely the vision, absolutely.
Well, I think there's definitely opportunities of where we can spend this money once we get it. So we need to get it.
Thank you. And let me just speak real quickly to your concern. And that's why I actually addressed that in one of these assurances. This is a battle. We're in a battle right now. And we really, brick and mortar and buildings and infrastructure, what we really need is not that right now. What we really need are boots on the ground. We need trained people it's your human capital. And it's a surge, and we have absolutely no expectation that when this money runs out, some years from now, hopefully we're ready for a surge means a drawdown, and we're ready to work our way out of a job in the best sense of the term. Can we cut these numbers in half? Wow, talk about a return on investment of taxpayer dollars going to all of these terrible situations. So if I understand that from the city's perspective, I can assure you we would not be coming back to the city council and saying, okay, the grant ran out, we want you to keep funding this peer support specialist or this counselor. It will not happen, and you can put that in writing. We really do hope that we can be having a drawdown after a surge, but let's get professionals out there helping these folks.
Well, these are real numbers and real deaths, so it's a serious issue. It's not going away.
That's right.
Well, I got some
Any comments?
questions,
Sorry.
yeah.
Ms. Patton,
All right, first of all, how do you find these people? Are they overdosed when you get them, or we know that, I mean, they've already been on the drugs and overdosed and not died, but hanging on?
Well, a number of people, we have 2 peer support specialists housed in the main ER in Aiken now. And so every day we have these people in recovery coaches. So yes, we're doing better and better about warm handoffs from the hospital. That could happen here in this ER on this side of the county. That's what they mean by warm handoffs, but it could be from the hospital, it could be from the detention center. We've got a big problem in the jails. It could be, all kind of warm handoffs from private medical practices. So yes.
I mean, would HIPAA allows that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
You form these partnerships, BAAs, QS, we get the legal beagles involved.
Okay,
so.
and a few more questions here. DARE, now you talking about into our public schools, we had DARE to keep off drugs, whatever it was. Well, boop, I don't know if that's state or our city, got rid of the DARE program. We have that no more in elementary. And I tell you where I think it should be middle school, not elementary. You should start in middle school. And I'm going to tell everybody on this council, don't think there's not drugs everywhere you go. I never walk in Riverview Park, I'm not smelling marijuana. Okay? So it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And like I said, I know probably what happens to these young people, they might get hooked on marijuana. Then their desires get bigger and bigger and bigger. So now I'm a person, I'm hands-on, buddy. If there's a problem, I'm going to it. I'm not going to run. But I think like in these neighborhoods, there should be something. I mean, we can build buildings and we can do this, but do we right there hand in hand with them and saying, look, buddy, we need you. Matter of fact, this guy, coach, I don't know if anybody knows Darrell Curry in North Augusta. He's probably one of the best young men coaches I've ever seen. But him and I were talking about, we have a targeted bunch at Riverview Park. 120 young men playing basketball. I said, well, why don't we start with them and just talk, have a meeting, talk with them, and see what they're looking for and what they need. These young people are going to get our attention one way or the other, either the good or the bad. They don't care. So we have got, as a community and as a person, I'm telling you, drugs are killing our young people. And their minds, we talk about no common sense. Why? Look what's filling their little minds, and so like I said, we're going to talk the talk. By George, let's walk the walk and do something about it. Now, one more question. I would love to see DARE come back in our schools, but I say go to middle school. Fifth graders, they think it's funny, smoking and all that. Now, there are some elementaries that probably smoke pot, but really your middle schoolers. And when you say for North Augusta to apply, and maybe Britain, who applies? I mean, is it Jim Clifford? Who does it?
Yes, we do it as the city does.
Okay, all
Right, Mr.
And it's really, just be aware, Pat, Chief Thomas, Captain Lucky, Margaret, Jim, I mean, they've met consistently. So I think now we kind of know where the deadline is, we will have a plan in place.
Yeah, well, I say let's move and do it quick.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
We look forward to partnering with you.
Just-
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
No, I just had a quick question, and this may involve Steve, but, I noticed this said opioid. Is this prescription overdoses or illegal, like heroin?
All of the above. And if we took the time to talk about those almost 100 deaths in Aiken County this past year and all the toxicology reports, fentanyl's been the #1 killer. But a lot of people, it's fake pills they ordered over the internet, or it's cocaine that was laced with fentanyl. We've had some cases where allegedly it was only marijuana products that they thought they were taking and there was fentanyl in it. So fentanyl's the big #1 in terms of the death, but in most of the cases, there are multiple substances on board at the time of death.
Yeah, I mean, I was just curious because I know, there was a big thing about prescription drugs being abused. I know a couple of my wife's medications, when I go to pick it up, I got to show my ID. So I didn't know if it was coming from, the stuff you get from the drugstore, or if it was illegal, or if we knew.
We're definitely seeing a shift where there are fewer people that started or are currently, with the medications that were legitimately prescribed, and it's more of fentanyl and the opioids coming in. It may be a follow along that started with post-surgery, but yeah, we've got to hit it at young, elderly. There's an increase, by the way, of elderly people just in the last few months dying of overdoses.
Margaret, thank you for all you
Yes,
do.
absolutely.
Good to have you with us in our
Thank you.
community.
Look
Thank
forward to
you very
working
much.
with you.
We're just about done. The gentleman in the green came up. Did you want to speak to us, or are you just here just to listen? Okay, and ladies, y'all just here to listen? Okay. John feel like, I know, God, I don't believe it. John have nothing to say. Okay. All right, well, we're almost 10 minutes in, so that was the only person we had on the list, so we will close the power hour and be back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Want to welcome everyone to the City of North Augusta regular City Council meeting for February the 6th, 2023. It's great to see this big crowd, and I apologize for a couple-minute delay, but had to wait on a special guest. So we'll get started now. You are welcome to join me in prayer. Dear God, we ask you to give us the guidance and discernment needed to make decisions for our community. Help us to listen to each other's perspective on all matters. Help us to respect the concerns from citizens as we strive to honor you and our role as elected officials. Amen. If you can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I did want to recognize we have Aiken County Chairman Mr. Gary Bunker in the house with us. Mr. Chairman, thank you for being here. We appreciate that. Thanks for what you're doing in the county. Okay. Approval of minutes. Are there any corrections, deletions, or additions to the special call city council meeting minutes of January 23rd, 2023, or the study session minutes of January 30th, 2023? Hearing none, they stand approved as distributed. I was testing y'all. We're going to do our roll call starting from, I'm so excited tonight. I got to follow my notes. Starting from my left.
Eric Presnell.
David McGee.
Pat Carpenter.
Britton Williams.
Bob Brooks.
Jennifer McCauley.
Kevin Toole.
Okay. All right. Council, I'm going to ask y'all to, I want y'all to get over there so you can, I'm going to ask Ambassador Theodore Britton and his wife if you would step forward up here for me. I am so excited about tonight. This is very special. Before I read this proclamation, is this one? Before I read the proclamation, I first had an opportunity to talk to this gentleman about, right after I got elected, Millage Murray was nice enough to reach out to me, and we had a very nice conversation. And even then, I was amazed at how young looking and sharp you at almost 98. It's amazing. But anyway, so I reached out to Ambassador Britton last week, knowing he and his wife were going to be here for this proclamation. And, you know, I asked him, just wanted to share a few memories. He lived here his first 10 years of his life. They left when he was 10 years old to go to New York. But during his life here, just a number of things I thought was interesting. He actually, if you know, we're North Augusta Baptist Church, that's on Jackson. That used to be Young Hammond Grove. That was his church. And he said there's a little house that's boarded up now, right? Little the brick house. That was the community school. And he said they had 4 rows in the school. And once you graduate each year, you just slide down to the next row. He remembers walking past Briggs Pond, which is a small fishing pond right on the corner of Mokatine and Jackson. It's still used. I go by it every day. It's used. It's a great little pond. And he remembered he and his sister would walk down to the store, past Briggs Pond, down to the store, and he'd get a single piece of light bread with a small tray of peanut butter and a bottle of sweetened water. He said they had no Coca-Cola for 2 cents. Sweetened water, I love it. He also remembers watching Reverend George Brightheart. He said his job was he would have to watch Reverend George Brightheart's cow after school, and Reverend Brightheart paid you 10 cents. And he said that might not have been a lot of money, but considering I'd have to pay taxes and Social Security, it went a lot farther than you thought. And he said, and gentlemen, with all our public safety, Mr. Weeks was the only policeman in town. Okay. I'd say we've come a long way. Okay. All right. I did want to let you know as I mentioned, our Aiken County Chairman, Gary Bunker's in the house here. He came for this proclamation. Our representative, Kelly Mobley, was out of town, and Representative Bill Hickson, he's our state representative, as well as Senator Tom Young, our senator. Both are up in the State House in Columbia tonight. They could not be here, but they give you your best congratulations, okay? So I did want to let you know that. So, all right, let me read this proclamation. And I'll be honest with you, I debated. I've never read a proclamation to an ambassador. And I didn't know how I wanted to frame it, but I said, we better not frame it because you may want to put it in a nicer frame than I could get for you. Okay, so I'm going to let you do that. So here it is. Whereas Ambassador Theodore R. Britton was born in North Augusta on October the 17th, 1925, and has served his family, community, and country. And whereas Ambassador Britton served in World War II as a member of the Montfort Point Marines, which was America's only all-black Marine Corps unit, and on June the 27th, 2012, was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal for his service and bravery during World War II by President Barack Obama. And whereas Ambassador Britton then enrolled in New York University, where he majored in banking and finance and graduated in 1952 with a Bachelor of Arts degree. And whereas Ambassador Britton worked for 12 years as a financial service officer, and in 1964 worked with the National Baptist Convention for 7 years to then hold a high position in the Department of Housing and Urban Development in 1971 in the Richard Nixon administration. And whereas Ambassador Britton then was nominated by President Gerald Ford in 1974, where he served as a U.S. ambassador to the island nations of Barbados and Grenada. And whereas Ambassador Britton in 1981 was appointed by President Ronald Reagan to serve as chairman of the U.S.-China-Soviet Union Agreement on Housing and Planning, where he held that until 1989 when he retired from the U.S. Foreign Service. Whereas Ambassador Britton has promoted international awareness and education to over 150 countries as a lecturer over his many years of service. Now, therefore, I, Britton S. Williams, on behalf of the citizens of the city of North Augusta, do hereby extend sincere congratulations to Ambassador Theodore R. Britton and call upon all citizens to congratulate, honor, and celebrate with him for receiving the Order of the Palmetto, which is the highest civilian honor awarded by the Governor of South Carolina and is a once-in-a-lifetime achievement. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of North Augusta, South Carolina, to be fixed this 6th day of February 2023. Congratulations, Mr. Ambassador. And Mr. Ambassador, I'm going to, if you would like to say just a few words.
Just a few words. Again, I served in Barbados. South Carolina was created by Barbadians, as you well know. The name Carolina is Charles in Latin. I mean, the first 7 governors of South Carolina were from South Carolina. Were from Barbados. But I want to say that one of the people who was a great help to me was a man who, when I speak in some circles, the first thing they think of in 1948, they say, "That racist?" And I say, yes, in 1948. But what did he do from 1949 to 2001? Well, one thing is he helped me to become U.S. ambassador. That was Strom Thurmond. So I have a lot of feelings about South Carolina, about North Augusta. I have fond memories. And Mr. Mayor, I feel so greatly honored. I've received a lot of comments, compliments, and all that kind of business. But this is special. This is home. I'm a homeboy today. When I saw one of my cousins in church yesterday, everybody had introduced me, His Excellency, the ambassador, and whatever. He said, "Are you Brother Britton?" So it broke everything. I want to say that one of your staunch business people in this community is my first cousin up there, George Brighthop, Reverend George Brighthop. You've heard of Brighthop's mortuary.
That was his father that you watched his cow for.
That was his father, yes. And my son is here. Of course, my wife, Vernell, you know that. My son is here. And one person whom I'm very special proud of, my friend well, my cousin Hattie Elam, who grew up here, she's retired as a captain in the Navy. She's here. And finally, my staunch protege, Ben Hermanton, who I first met as a lieutenant colonel, as a second lieutenant, retired as a lieutenant colonel from the Marine Corps, and now trains pilots to fly the Dreamliner. So he's come a long way, and I will have to end with the story that Ben told. Sometime I'm made to feel important, like today, but coming to the Marine Corps for the first time after something like, oh gosh, it must have been something like 50 or 60 years, Ben was driving the car, and I was sitting with him, and as we came up to park, the sergeant major with all of his stripes there said, "You don't park here. You park up at RFK Stadium. That's about a mile away. You go up there and park." And Ben looked him in the eye and he said, "Sir, this man is a U.S. ambassador." And the sergeant major said, "Then he parks right here." Thank you, Ben. You made my day. Mr. Mayor and you folks, I appreciate all that you've done. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you again.
Thank you again, and I know council would like to congratulate you. Now, come on up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you folks for being here. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to start with new business. Item 6, Economic Development, Ordinance Number 2023-01, to authorize the city to enter into a second amendment to the Master Development Agreement of March the 15th, 2017 for North Augusta Riverside Village. This is the first reading. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
Ms. Carpenter? Mr. Presnell, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
Just for the council, as a reminder, the original Master Development Agreement, the MDA, was signed in 2017, was a 5-year agreement, expired in March of 2022. Before that expiration, the previous council elected to extend the MDA on a year-to-year basis, so that 1-year period will be completed by the end of March. And so what's before you now is a second 1-year extension off the original 5 years. And I believe Mr. Shane's presentation from Greenstone stands for itself, and I leave it to you for the first reading of this ordinance.
Okay, thank you, sir. Are there any citizen comments? Okay, any council discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, item number 7, Engineering and Public Works. Ordinance number 2023-02, authorizing a restructuring of personnel for the Department of Streets and Drains subsequent to department vacancies resulting from retirements and resignations. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
Ms. McCauley and Mr. Brooks, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
I believe Tom Zeser did a great job of covering what he was looking to do here with this restructure, which does not cost the city any additional funding this fiscal year. And just as a reminder, this is to help him with future succession planning within the Streets and Drains Department.
Okay. Are there any citizen comments? Okay, any council discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Item 8, Public Safety. Resolution number 2023-03, a resolution authorizing the budget and funding source for the construction of the North Augusta Department of Public Safety Headquarters. Do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Ms. Carpenter, second was Mr. McGee. Okay. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
No, I think, Mr. Mayor and Council were able to walk the previous resolutions through the council to have some situational awareness of what had previously occurred. The budget that's before you is entirely out of capital project sales tax 4. I believe the staff was able to present a mitigation plan for how that money would be cross-leveled into other fund streams for other CPSD projects. And so my recommendation is for the council to consider this resolution to fund the public safety headquarters in the amount of $25 million.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Are there any citizen comments? Okay, any council discussion?
Can we make a comment?
Yeah, council
Okay.
discussion.
All right, go ahead, Bob.
It's been a long time coming. This project has been around for quite some time, and I'm happy to be able to vote for this today for approval. And after 8 years on council, it has been a burden for all of us who are sitting here. It's no easy decision to make, but it's one that is very important to our public safety department, public safety officers, and all the employees that work in public safety. I'm proud to announce that they will be, in 2 years, hopefully, in this new facility, and the old building hopefully will be bulldozed. Thank you.
Ms. Carpenter.
And I'm like Bob Brooks, looking out here at all these handsome young men and ladies, and we just love you and appreciate you. And I'm like Bob, I'm sorry it's taken almost 6 years. We have discussed this and done. But my only regret, and they already know, I want this thing open for December 2025. My term will be up in May. And this is one of my goals, that we have a brand-new public safety for our policemen and police ladies. And we do thank you, we love you, and just God protect you always.
Anybody else?
I just want to say, guys, when I was first elected, the location of the public safety was one of the first things they threw to us to have to vote on. You remember, Kevin? And guys, I feel awful that it's taken 4 years to get to this point, but I am, well, probably longer than that, but since I've been on here. But all of you deserve way better than what you're dealing with now. You know, I've been in there and seen the buckets. You know, it's deplorable conditions. I think that original building was built in 1951. So this is long past due, and guys, I'm excited to vote for this today, and hopefully, like Ms. Pat said, the sooner the better. Thank you for all your service.
I would just briefly say that, you know, reiterate what everybody has said so far. Is just, I'm very glad that we've gotten to this point. I know it's been a bit of a struggle as long as I've been on council this whole time. It's been a major struggle, and I'm just proud and glad that we're able to vote on this and get this moving.
I'll just add to everybody else's comments, but I'm the newest council member, so I think everybody else took most of the brunt of all this work, but it has been a long time coming, and you guys all very much deserve it, and we're excited to move this forward, hopefully.
Our dad, anything to all of that. So ditto. Let's get moving.
All I'm going to say is the current facility is freaking embarrassing for this community. Okay? So we're excited. So with that, no other discussion. I will ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. All right, item 9, Public Services, Resolution Number 2023-04, a resolution approving a contract for the installation of a fire suppression alarm system in the materials recovery facility. You'll have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Brooks, second was Mr. McGee. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
For mayor and council, actually, this resolution and the following one are linked, resolution number 2023-04 and 05. These are both in regards to contracts for the MRF, the Material Recovery Facility. So we're asking for, in this particular one, item 9, installation of fire suppression alarm system, and that's the contract that's before you. And our recommendation is to approve it.
Are there any citizen comments? Any council discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. And just for folks who are visiting maybe for the first time, we do a study session a week before we vote. So the study session is where we really get into mostly questions and debate and discuss. So by the time it here, although we're not seeing a lot of discussion here, we have discussed this. I just want to let you be aware. Item 10, Public Service Resolution Number 2023-05, a resolution approving a contract for the installation of electrical and ventilation systems in the Material Recovery Facility. Do you have a motion to approve this resolution? Ms. Carpenter, thank you. Mr. Presnell, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
Mr. Mayor and Council, again, this is in regards to the rebuilding of the Material Recovery Facility, the MRF. This is for a contract with A-Alert Construction Services, which is also the company that's in the process of putting up the steel work and roofing there as well. They've done very good work for us to date and feel very comfortable going forward with this contract.
Very good. Are there any citizen comments? Any council discussion? Here now, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Item 12, Public Safety, Resolution Number 2023-07, a resolution authorizing the City of North Augusta to enter into a contract with the Aiken County Public Defender's Office for the provision of representation of indigent defendant in the municipal court for the City of North Augusta. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution? Ms.
Mayor.
Carpenter?
You skipped 11.
Oh, I did. My goodness. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we'll go back to number 11. Finance Resolution Number 2023-06, approving the annual assessment report and amendment of the assessment roll for the Ballpark Village Municipal Improvement District and confirming the collection of annual assessment therein for the 2022-2023 assessment year. We have a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Mr. Brooks, a second.
Second.
Ms. McCauley, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, as a reminder for the council, this is an annual requirement. You should expect to see this every February or thereabouts. And what our staff does, along with outside counsel and financial advisors, is craft the tax and mid assessments for Riverside Village. And then upon approval of this resolution by the council, then these will be issued to the property owners in Riverside Village.
Are there any citizen comments? Any council discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Guess what? This is item 12. Public Safety, Resolution Number 2023-07, a resolution authorizing the City of North Augusta to enter into a contract with the Aiken County Public Defender's Office for the provision of representation of indigent defendant in the municipal court for the City of North Augusta. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution? Ms. Carpenter, Ms. McGee, second. Thank you. Mr. Clifford.
Mr. Mayor and Council, again, this is a request for a 3-year contract to provide services out of a public defender's office for folks that are coming before the municipal court. They cannot afford representation. I believe there's a requirement for us to provide that service. This is a good rate for us to receive it at. And based on the advice of your city attorney, this is a request we're making for the council today.
Is this the first, have we done this every 3 years? Is this the first?
We had an existing, or correction, we had a initial 6-month contract, which has since lapsed, and we were going on a month-to-month basis, so to speak. And so this will be a better long-term solution, and I expect 3 years from now, we'll be back before you for another either contract extension or a new contract.
Okay, very good, thank you. Are there any citizen comments? Okay, any council discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Item 13, Finance, Resolution Number 202308, a resolution authorizing reallocation of a portion of the funding allocation recommendations of the Accommodation Tax Advisory Committee for the disbursement of revenues from the Accommodation Tax Year 2020 to 2021. Do we have a motion to approve this resolution? All right, Mr. President, thank you. Second? Ms. Carpenter? Boy, you got quiet all of a sudden. Anything you want to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
Just as a reminder for the mayor and council, Rachel Moody did a great job of wrapping up a plan by the city for the remainder of the $35,567.14 that were unspent, to include some of the council priorities, which included wrapping the activities bus down at PRT along with some other projects. And again, our recommendation is that you would move forward for approval on this resolution.
Okay. Are there any citizen comments? Okay. Any council discussion? Or hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Clifford, do you have any administrative reports?
No, sir.
Okay. This is item 15. This is the time when, if there are any citizens who want to speak to mayor or council regarding anything that's not on the agenda, this is your opportunity. I would just ask that you would raise your hand and you can come forward, say your name and address to the microphone so we can have you on record. Okay. I've got just two things on account I'm going to mention before I let Kelly talk, before we adjourn. Are there any questions, any comments? Okay, Mr. Brooks.
At our last meeting we had with the general input from the public, we had a lady here discussing the speed in neighborhoods. And I was at home today, and construction traffic, Chief, has gotten really bad on Green Forest. It's the contractors, it's not the individuals, but if we could get some help in that neighborhood, because there are some young people that live there with small kids, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Just two things I just want to read that on Wednesday, February the 15th, 2023, the mayor, city council, and staff will be traveling to Greenwood, South Carolina. The purpose of this workshop will be to consider future growth planning. This workshop is being held off-site out of the city to have mayor, council, and staff together for discussion with minimal distractions. Council will also tour downtown Greenwood to learn what they have done to revitalize their downtown. Since a quorum of council members will be present, this will constitute a meeting as identified by the Freedom of Information Act. However, there will be no votes or formal action by the council during their time in Greenwood. This will be an open meeting. The public may attend. And I believe that Jamie will be posting the location, all that online. So I wanted to officially read that. And the second thing is, I know I'm a few people, we sent this out on Friday, but now we are doing our master plan, okay? So you can go either, if you have it online, you can fill out the survey about our parks. If you want to go down to the community center and get a hard copy survey, you can. But this is it, folks. This is the time. We want to hear your thoughts. We are looking at all our parks, including the North Augusta Country Club property. This is your chance to let us know what you need us to consider going forward. So besides it being online, we will also have our first session will be a visioning workshop for the public on, and we'll get more of this out, but Tuesday, March the 21st, that's Tuesday, March the 21st from 5:30 to 7 at North Augusta Community Center. Okay, we'll have another one, but this is the first one we're going to have, and the survey is online. So please pass this out to your friends. Tell them about the survey. We want to hear your thoughts about our parks. So I just wanted to do that. And I believe, Kelly, you want to give an update, what's on the agenda?
Yeah, on the executive session I'd asked for tonight, we've determined that there's some additional information that is needed to avoid the necessity of possibly having two executive sessions. Could not get that information today, but it will be available by the next council meeting. And so I would just ask that this be continued until that time.
And we don't have to vote.
No, no.
Okay. All right, well, very good. It's great to see everybody. Thank y'all for being here and your support, and we stand adjourned.